welcome to True Connection, another video. And if you're not aware, True Connection is kind of like Call the Bridge for introverts, people that are a little bit more quiet, a little bit more reflective, right? They can't just be drilled with tactics or strategies the same way, right? When they want to approach someone beautiful, or when they just want to reach out and have a connection. So, the thing I want to talk about today is I want to talk about the whole introvert thing, right? The whole notion of introversion and where it goes kind of astray, where it goes a bit sideways. Now, I would consider myself an introvert, okay? That's just something I've always been like. From a young age, I've always been inwards, okay? And I've grew up around, obviously, people loud, obnoxious, a bit rowdy in school. And of course, sometimes it's very hard to bridge the gap, right? It's very hard to come out of your shell. Now, as much as that is an objective thing, I also think that sometimes this whole introvert thing, it's kind of like a victim card. I feel like a lot of guys now these days, even me, I've done it before, there could be a situation, maybe a social situation that isn't necessarily comfortable. For example, maybe talking in a group of people or maybe approaching someone, whatever, right? And it's like, well, you can just pull out the victim card of, well, I'm an introvert. And it's like, oh, well, now everything's fine. Everything is finished, right? Case closed. And it's very easy to fall into that trap these days because we've kind of become, by trying to deal with negative self-image and negative self-esteem. So by saying, by claiming we're an introvert, in a way, we're shielding ourselves from negative judgment, right? It's like, oh, well, I'm an introvert, therefore don't judge me, therefore don't say anything bad, because it's like, well, it's my condition now, right? So obviously there's that. But at the same time, I think introversion, in a way, it is a construct, okay? You have to look at it as a construct. And really, there is a fundamental basis to it. There are fundamental traits with introverts. For example, I think we do obviously think about things more. We're more comfortable in our heads. We're more comfortable to sit by ourselves and kind of, watch people watch, just read a book and stuff. That is true. But the idea that introverts are somehow defective socially and that they cannot master charisma, they cannot master attraction, I think this is complete rubbish, and it's something people have bought into. Another thing people have bought into is that, introversion itself doesn't mean anxiety, right? People think introverts are always anxious, but that's not true. Anxiety is separate from introversion. It just happens to be that introverts happen to be anxious in a lot of situations, right? And if they haven't mastered their emotions, if they haven't mastered their strengths, then they're kind of going to go more and more into that identity of like, oh, I'm introverted and I'm anxious. Or they might start saying to themselves like, I'm anxious because I'm introverted, right? And the two don't actually go together. Okay? But I think sometimes when you put this label on yourself, sometimes it does have an effect, right? It does have an effect of kind of making yourself this static thing, as if you cannot evolve and you cannot change. And you'd be surprised how much these things can affect you, right? Not to say that you can just delude yourself into thinking that you're the coolest, most chatty person, no. Or that you can be good at small talk when you're not, no. But I think it's important to be aware of the language that you're telling yourself inside your head and to other people, right? So there's that. But obviously, true connection is it's mainly for introverts because yeah, it's not particularly easy to talk about the fact that like you're struggling, right? And we're not you are struggling with women. Of course, you want to be able to prove yourself and be out there with girls, but it's like it's in general, right? It's a general being in your shell. So it's like you have to tackle this the right way, while respecting your uniqueness, respecting your essence. But I just want you to have a think about some of those things when it comes to kind of introversion, and you can let me know. Do you think introversion is like? Do you think it's a trait, or do you think it's like something deeper? Do you think it's like a set of behaviors that people do? Okay, and is it helping you do better, or is it limiting you? But ultimately, the things that you say to an introvert in order to help them attract girls, it's going to be a bit different. It's going to be slightly different, but at the same time, we're not going to kind of bracket you into this group to be like, oh, well, you deserve special treatment. No, it's just the approach is a bit different, which you'll obviously come to know. But yeah, I hope you get some food for thought in that and stay tuned for more content with True Connection.